started. Inspire us.
Jayanti, and good morning.
Jayanti, good morning.
Today I'd like to share with you a story about Lord Mahaveera that teaches us about patience, karma, and mindfulness. One day, Lord Mahaveera was sitting under a large tree, absorbed in deep meditation. His mind was far, far away from the material world around him. A cowherder happened to pass by with his herd. He needed to complete some urgent work, and upon seeing a man sitting quietly under the tree, thought he might ask for some help. "Excuse me," the herder called out to Lord Mahaveera. "Could you please watch my cows while I attend to some work?" Lord Mahaveera, absorbed in deep meditation, gave no response. The cowherder, assuming the man had heard and agreed, left his cows there and went to complete his task. While the herder was gone, the cow strayed further and further away from the tree where Lord Mahaveera sat. When the herder returned, he was shocked to find his cows missing. "Where are my cows?" he demanded. "Did you hide them somewhere?" Again, Lord Mahaveera made no response, as he remained in his meditative state. This silence angered the cowherder. "I'll teach you a lesson," he shouted. In his anger, the cowherder did something terrible. He took wild thorns and pierced them into Lord Mahaveera's ears so deeply that both sides met in the middle. Then, to hide his cruel deed, he carefully cut the thorns so they couldn't be seen from the outside. Despite this excruciating pain, Lord Mahaveera remained undisturbed. He continued in his meditation without breaking his concentration. You see, Lord Mahaveera understood something profound. He recognized the suffering as a result of karma from his 18th previous life. With this wisdom, he felt no anger or ill will towards the herder who had caused him such immense pain. 6 months passed before Lord Mahaveera went to a village and encountered a doctor. The doctor noticed something was wrong and examined Lord Mahaveera carefully. As the doctor slowly extracted the hidden thorns from Mahaveera's ears, even the great spiritual master could not help but cry out in pain. Tears flowed from his eyes, revealing the tremendous suffering he had endured silently for half a year. This story illuminates an essential truth. Everything we do, whether good or bad, has consequences. We have to be mindful of what we set in motion today. As we go on about our lives, let us remember this lesson. Let us consider our words and deeds carefully, knowing not only they will affect others' experiences, but our own future as well. Thank you.
It's easy if you natural phenomenon of symbiosis or mutual dependence, which forms the basis of the modern-day science of ecology. The ancient Jain scriptural aphorism, parasparo pragraho jivanam, all life is bound together by mutual support and interdependence, is refreshingly contemporary in its premise and perspective. It defines the scope of modern ecology while extending it further to a more spacious whole. It means that by all aspects of nature belong together and are bound in physical as well as metaphysical relationship. Life is viewed as a gift of togetherness, accommodation, and assistance in a universal teaming with interdependent constituents. And that's from the Jain Declaration on Nature. Thank you.
Johnny's here.
You're next, that's our thought,
Excuse me a little bit. John, come on up. I'm going to invite up John DiLeonardo from
Nice Irish name.
Humane Long Island. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Thanks very much for having me. Jayanti, everyone. It's an honor to speak today in celebration of Mahaveera Jayanti, as Jainism has been a tremendous influence on my life. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to make the world a better place. Early on, I committed valiant acts of violence in defense of others who could not adequately defend themselves, taking on bullies in the schoolyard as a child and going after rapists and violent gangs as a teenager. As my worldview expanded, I learned that not only were the biggest problems well beyond my fists, but that, as Mahaveera said, anger begets anger, and forgiveness and love lead to more forgiveness and love. I disbanded my own gang of vigilantes and began studying counseling and school psychology with the goal of helping children with special needs when they were young and most malleable. It was not until I was halfway through college, however, that I learned about Jainism and my life changed forever. I had never met a vegetarian before, and I believed all the typical fallacies, namely that killing animals was a necessary sin and that humans could not survive, much less thrive, without consuming meat. Now, I was not only presented with an entire community that had eschewed meat for thousands of years, but monks who were so dedicated to ahimsa, or nonviolence, that they waited for berries to fall off the vine so as not to molest the plant. I felt small and cowardly. How could I claim to be protecting my community while consuming other jiva, or life? After class, I went to the school cafeteria. I loaded up a plate full of chicken carcasses, and just like I did every day, but I couldn't take a bite. So I pushed it away, and I never ate meat again. A year later, I learned how infant cows are torn from their mothers so that we can consume milk meant for them, and how in the egg industry, male chicks are killed, suffocated, or ground alive at only 1 day old because they simply cannot lay eggs. I went vegan as a result. The weight of the cruelties in this world seemed bigger than I could muster, but I knew I could no longer engage in these cruelties myself. Shortly thereafter, I received an email from People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, commonly known as PETA, notifying me that Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus was coming to town during my spring break. Enclosed were pictures of baby elephants being chained and beaten, forced into the unnatural contortions seen on the big stage. I made a small vow, or on a fraud, to dedicate my spring break to peacefully protesting outside the circus each day. Following these demonstrations, I felt empowered and made another vow to see the end of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus's exploitation of animals before I died. Before I knew it, I was graduating with my master's in anthrozoology, the study of interrelationships between human and non-human animals, and receiving a graduate certificate in Jain Studies from the International School of Jain Studies in India. Shortly thereafter, I was employed by the largest animal rights organization in the world, leading the campaign against animal circuses worldwide. A few years later, I organized the last ever Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus protest at the exact same place that I started, Nassau Coliseum. After 146 years, the circus giant had fallen, and my life goal was complete. I wasn't even 30. During my tenure at PETA, I led PETA's animals entertainment campaigns through groundbreaking victories, such as Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus shutting down and coming back, now animal-free, and SeaWorld announcing the end of its shorted orca breeding program and its circus-style dolphin shows. I also restructured PETA's outreach and action teams into a new division called Grassroots Campaigns, and supervised a team arming activists throughout North America with tools for effective campaigns and overseeing the grassroots protests, action team, and vegan mentor program within this new division. Through the launch of PETA's Action Leader program, I helped introduce the concept of strategic campaigns to activists around the globe. I am still active with PETA, though no longer employed there. Recently, I traveled to Alaska to lead protests of the treacherous 1,000-mile Iditarod dog sled race for PETA, which has claimed the lives of more than 150 dogs, most commonly from inhaling their own vomit after being forced to run beyond their breaking point. This year's victims include a 4-year-old pregnant dog named Ventana, and her unborn baby after she was forced to run while she was pregnant. As horrible as this tragedy is, victory here too is on the horizon. This year, the Washington Post published a column on the cover of its sports section, urging Iditarod mushers to run the race themselves and leave the dogs out of it. The race has also slashed its purse by $500,000, resulting in less mushers this year than any other year prior. After protests resulted in sponsors Chrysler, Coca-Cola, Jack Daniels, ExxonMobil, Millennium Hotels and Resorts, and many more severing their ties with the death race. While I am proud of my work with PETA, my proudest victories have always been through my local organization, Humane Long Island. Attributed to, skip a paragraph. While I'm proud of my work with PETA, my proudest victories have always been through my local organization, Humane Long Island. Ahimsa Paramo Dharma is the fundamental tenet of Humane Long Island and permeates throughout all that we do. Attributed to various religious teachers, including Mahaveera, the 24th Tirthankar, or enlightened spiritual master in Jainism, and popularized by Mahatma Gandhi, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma is loosely translated to nonviolence is the highest moral virtue. Ahimsa, Sanskrit for nonviolence or non-injury to life, requires doing the least harm one can to all living beings, not only by action, but also by thought and word. An important tenet of many Eastern faiths, including Hinduism and Buddhism, Ahimsa is the fundamental tenet of Jainism. Paramo means topmost, ultimate, or supreme. Dharma has no direct translation to English, however it can be conceptualized as duty, reality, or righteousness in thought, word, and action. Unlike Western conceptions of nonviolence, Ahimsa is not a passive force, but implies an active expression of compassion. In the same vein, Humane Long Island does not believe it's enough to simply go vegan or stop contributing to animal cruelty ourselves, but rather believes we must become activists. Taking inspiration from Mahaveera, a name meaning great warrior, Humane Long Island is not your typical animal rights organization. We are strategic campaigners who have shut down petting zoos and illegal backyard butcher operations, stopped massacres of thousands of geese and deer, ended animal circuses and wild animal acts from New York City to Greenport, stopped the slaughterhouse from being built in Islip, and assured an aquarium chain from expanding into Oyster Bay, and done so much more through the implementation of right thought and action. We do not approach animal exploiters with pride or anger, but rather as humane educators with thoughts of consequentialism. We recognize that a person's every action is the result of the disposition they were born with, whether one calls that a soul, a jiva, or simply their genetic makeup, and how that disposition is influenced by environmental factors, experiences, or karmas. A wicked person is not someone to be feared or loathed, but rather a broken person who needs to be loved and healed. Through this mindset, we worked with a petting zoo in my hometown of Malvern to shutter its operations and send the animals to sanctuaries. We worked with whistleblowers from Larry Wallach's Sloth Encounters, an illegally operated exotic petting zoo I spoke about last year, to shutter the business and convince the feds to cancel Wallach's federal license. Thank you to all of you guys who spoke up and contacted the feds for us after I spoke here last year about that very campaign. We worked with the vice president of the Iowa Pork Association to surrender 2 piglets and regularly exchange vegan food for animals at live slaughter markets, most recently trading vegan food for the lives of 2 turkeys this past Thanksgiving. We hope to get more at Easter. With an avian influenza pandemic looming with 100 times the morbidity of COVID, our work in live slaughter markets, which spread disease from factory farms into our most dense populations, is particularly important during this time. We also recently worked with more than a dozen whistleblowers from the Holtzville Ecology site to expose decades of death and neglect at the Brookhaven Highway Department-run facility after the death of Honey the Bear last year, and are urging authorities to work with us to move the animals to reputable sanctuaries where they can get the care they need, much like they are doing with another pseudo-sanctuary called Double D Bar Ranch in Mahaveera. We've worked with Suffolk County authorities to confiscate hundreds of farmed animals from this facility in recent months, and the business is now facing 112 counts of animal cruelty while we rehabilitate, along with my wife, about 100 animals on our property right now. On this Mahaveera Jayanti, I invite you to begin your own campaign as a peaceful warrior or to join one of ours. I invite you to apply the values of compassion and fairness to our food system and consider saving the lives of 200 animals by simply leaving them off your plate. You can learn more on our website, humanelongisland.org, or follow our weekly column about Mahaveera or small vows in the South Asian Times, courtesy of our good friend Arvind Vora. Thank you very much for having us here today, and happy Mahaveera Jayanti to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Wow, I get exhausted just listening. So much work being done, but it's possible, right? And he's going all over to do it. And it's so important when we put our faith into action. It really speaks volumes. So we have a chant that we'd like to share with everybody. It's in your program, the next one. It's Vande Mahavir, Jai Jai Mahavir.
consciousness of humanity to really embrace the sanctity for all life. Let us take a deep breath, please. A prayer of peace. I grant forgiveness to all beings. May all living beings grant me forgiveness. My friendship is with all beings. I have no animosity towards any living beings. May the entire universe be blessed. May all beings engage with each other for well-being. May all weakness, sickness, and past diminish. May everyone, everywhere, be healthy, peaceful, and useful.
So invited Angelica to come up. She's a wonderful friend of ours too, a true shaman and a teacher that goes all around the world for peace for all of us.
Can you join me in saying 3 times, may peace prevail on earth?
May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail on earth. May peace prevail on earth. Hallelujah.
See that we have many guests that come from all around the world and do wonderful things with us. Our next guest too, you too. It's always such a pleasure to have you here to come speak with us on some Jane views, and you've been around the world and have leaded a big poem with world religions, others around the world making that peace. So welcome here in our humble abode.
Jai Jinendra, everybody.
Jai Janendra.
Thank you again for having me. It has become part of my annual routine to be at a gathering of light, and I really take it as a blessing. Thank you for having me, and it's just an honor, absolute sheer pleasure. I'm here to talk about what Mahaveera said about how we connect with this earth. So let's take from what has already been spoken, and I'll connect all that so that it makes sense to all of us. We talked about ahimsa paramo dharma, right? Ahimsa being non-violence, paramo means the best. Dharma, agreed, English has no translation for dharma, but for us, dharma is the value system that somebody embodies. So what is your biggest value system? It is non-violence. And when Bhagwan Mahavir talked about this value system of non-violence, he took it across all extremes, right? It was not non-violence towards the next person that you're looking at, but he defined it in a very larger space towards all living beings, right? And Jainism defines living beings as not just as you and me as humans, but it also defines that life form exists in air, water, plants, fire, vegetation, everywhere. Animals, right? Animals, we agree, right? So the Western science and the world around us took life to be in animals and mankind, or womankind. But back in around 100 years ago, they invented something called a microscope, and when they went inside the cells of a epithelial issue of an onion, they were like, we found something moving. And they said, you know what? Life has plants. Plants has life. And 100 years ago, science said, plants are living beings. So we are limited by our own defined definition of scientific instruments, because very soon we will say fire has life, we will say water has life, we will say air has life. Mahaveera, in his position of omniscience, where he got all knowledge, he said all of these elements that are around us have We need to talk about non-violence towards all living beings that include earth, water, fire, vegetation, plants, animals, and human beings. Everyone was included. And then he said, make sure you don't do it by your speech, by your thought, or by your actions, right? So we have to be non-violent even in thoughts, and we have to say, I cannot think about hurting somebody else. And then he took it a step further and he said, don't do it yourself, don't let anyone else do it, and don't let support anyone who's doing it. Krit karit anumodna, right? So I'm not doing it, I'm not asking anyone else to do it, and I'm not supporting anyone else to do it. So these three ways of not doing non-violence towards all living beings through mind, action, and thought and speech is what non-violence is all about. And ahimsa, as we call it, that's what he meant. Now it's very natural and it's very normal for us to not do violence towards another human being. All religions, all faiths have said, thou shalt not kill. Mahaveera just took it along further and he said, thou shalt not kill any living being, not just humans, but animals too. And in animals, whether it's a one-sense organism or a five-sense organism, you can't kill any one of them. And then he took it further and said, you know what, don't kill plants, don't kill fire, don't kill water, don't kill earth, right? And by that he means, he took it next level and he said, now, generally, anybody would say, okay, if you don't use earth, air, water, how do you even survive? How do you live, right? Take one simple example. I take air out of this room, and within seconds we are all gone, right? God knows where we'll go, but we'll all be gone, right? So air is such an important element, and if I'm not going to do violence against air, that means I cannot breathe, or I can. Why am I then born? Why am I living here? What is the whole purpose, right? And that's where Mahaveera said, use these elements to the level that they help you in survival. Do not overuse them. Do not exploit them, right? And that's where he came up with the concept of aparigraha, right? Where he said, what is required as a basic minimum, you're allowed, you're authorized, you can demand, you can say it's mine, right? But don't go and say, I need a closet with 100 dresses and now that closet is small, so I need to get a bigger house with 2 closets because I'm going to buy another 100 t-shirts and God knows when I'm going to wear them, right? When I need water, how much water do I need? I honestly tell you, I've gone through a health development program, and in that health development program, we are supposed to drink 2 bottles of water, which takes about 6-7 liters of water during the day, which is about 2 gallons. We all struggle to drink 2 gallons of water in a day. But how much water do we need? How much water do we store? How much water is always around us, as if like, if there is no water, we'll be like, oh my God, there's no water. All we need is 2 gallons of water a day, and you'll struggle to drink 2 gallons of water a day, right? That's where Jains don't open the showers and stand in there and like, okay, it's coming, I don't move, I don't do anything. We fill water in buckets and use that limited water to shower, because that's all we want. That much water is good enough, right? And that's the concept of aparigraha that Mahaveera brought in. Limit your requirements to what you need to live. No one is stopping you to live, because killing yourself or doing violence towards your own self is the biggest negative karma you can ever contain, right? So suicide in Jainism is considered the worst of the karmas that you can ever think about, because you need to be prepared to face the challenges, and you need to do that. And then these two together, to the message we read about Dr. Singhvi's, Parasparagro Jivanam, right? Paraspara means to interconnected. Upgraha means they help each other, they are symbiotic. Jivanam means all living beings. All life forms are connected. All life forms have something to give to each other. All life forms benefit from each other and they support each other. So imagine that. Imagine that powerful thing that you all here are the reason why I am here. There is a reason why I was invited by you. Now, if you don't invite me, I don't have any purpose this morning. Right? So our lives are somewhere connected that you think, Nathan, you should come and speak here. And by my giving this small message, it may trigger a process. Right? As he said, he met a friend who survived his entire life not eating meat. Right? To a person who eats meat without thinking, you meet groups of people who have not eaten meat, touch it even, or even think about it. And then even to absolutely, the concept of vegetation is, if it's fallen on the ground, it's yours to eat. Don't go and pluck it, because it's not ready yet. Right? So there is life there inside that is there. So when you think about all this interconnectivity of all lives, I tell you, you will disagree with me, right? You'll absolutely say this is not possible. But I'm going to end with this short story of my personal experimentation with these things. And I'll give you two instances where I felt things were connected for me. The first one was during Hurricane Irene, right? When Hurricane Irene was supposed to come, it was supposed to be category 2, going to hit us, and it was like big problem, right? And I said, why does the water and air have so much anger, right? Somewhere they are angry and they're trying to come here to cause destruction, and they're bringing their anger out on us. So in my prayers, I sat back and I said, to all the life forms, to all the jivas of this air and water, I ask for forgiveness. I must have done something that is creating so much anger that they are now coming and trying to take their things. So I asked for forgiveness, and I said, please forgive me, and please forgive all the people around me who might have done something that is causing all this to you. And you're coming with such force to bring and telling us we exist. You harmed us and we'll show you what we are. And that was my continuous prayers. And we all know Hurricane Irene, literally when it hit us, it was not category 2, not category 1. It was a huge thunderstorm with shades of thunder. And I was like, wow, it worked. Now that was almost 10 years ago, right? And I was like, ooh, it does work, right? I asked for forgiveness and I was forgiven. And see, my house is intact, my life is intact. Nothing major happened. And then this year, we all saw the fires that were happening in Los Angeles, right? The destruction it was causing. And the amount of pressure we all had, every fireman, everyone is trying to cut down the fire, and we were trying our best. And in one of our Bhaktama shlok, which is we have, there is one shlok about the power of fire, right? Bless you. And the power of fire, and how by praying to Lord Adinath or Lord Mahaveera, you can ask fire to go down and not destroy everything around. And I took that prayer and I said, to all the jivas that are being harmed by this fire, and all the life forms in that fire, I ask for forgiveness. I ask for pardon us. Again, we did something. We don't agree, we don't trust, we don't take care of you. So we misuse you, and we ask for forgiveness, right? And then I said, and it is so close to the ocean, it is right there. I asked all the water bodies, if there is Parasparagro Jivanam, and if we are all interconnected, let this water come up, and let there be rains, and let this pacify it happen. And you all know it happened, right? I am no person to create this. All I know is that through the teachings of Mahaveera, I have gotten messages to try to solve for these problems through prayers and asking for forgiveness, right? Because we all have done something wrong, and many times we don't even realize that we're doing something wrong. We are hurting somebody else. We are misusing the resources that we have. We take it for granted that it is mine and it is for me to exploit. And somewhere mankind and womankind, we have said, we are the best species, right? So guess what? We have authority over everything else. And then nature tells us, let me tell you how powerful you are, right? Let me put you in your place. And so if we are all interconnected, if we can ask for forgiveness, if we can go into the concept of true non-violence, Mahaveera says, life will work in your favor and you'll have a better perspective and you can enjoy this much better. Michhami Dukram, if I have said anything that is not as per what Mahaveera said or is against our agams and our spiritual teachings, I ask for forgiveness, but I'm purely reflecting my experimentation with Jainism and how I take these value systems and work with it and see if it works for us. And in my experiments, it has worked. So on this 10th of April, when it is actual Mahaveera Jayanti, I ask you to sit down for meditation for 1 minute or 2 minutes and seek forgiveness from all the life forms that you may have touched, you may have exploited, you may have hurt, you may have done something wrong, and ask for forgiveness so that they don't block your happiness and you can move forward in your path to attaining true happiness, which is moksha or salvation. Thank you and Jai Janendra.
Jai Janendra.
Okay, we have a dance now, performance.
Number 5. Beautiful. Yes, it's right there. Yes.
Close to your mouth. Hold it close to your mouth.
All breathing, existing, living sentient creatures should not be slain, nor treated with violence, nor abused, nor tormented, nor driven away.
Anger begets more anger, and forgiveness and love lead to more forgiveness, and love. A soul can only achieve liberation by getting all the karma attached to it.
By sincerity, a man gains physical, mental, and linguistic straightforwardness and harmonious tendency that is congruence of speech and action.
The nature of things is their attachment and aversion are the root cause of karma, and karma originates from infatuation. Karma is the source of misery. None can escape the effect of their own past karma. Soul is the center point of spiritualism. Eating constitutes the greatest obstacle to self-control. It rise to kill not, cause no pain, non-violence is the greatest religion.
Thank you.
जन्म जयंती का अवसर आया है, सूर्य उदित होकर नभ पर छाया है।
hi, my name is Artie Schock, and I'm the president of GOL. Nice to meet you. This is James, our good friend James. We are so grateful to have you guys here today, sharing with us beautiful wisdom, and also bringing that food. We appreciate that too for our fellowship.
Yeah, thank you.
So much.
We applaud you.
Please join me in our message of abundance. We are
Grateful for all the grace and wealth flowing in and through each member of the gathering of light,
and for all the abundance in our lives.
We are grateful for all the grace and wealth flowing in and through each
member, gathering of light, and for all the abundance in our lives. Thank you. Thank you, Carmen. All right, so I'll just do some of the announcements. Anyone new, thank you for coming and welcome, even here or at home.
Anyone new?
There's a blue QR code. Fill out that blue QR code, your contact information. Our starter pack program is doing really great, and they're still asking for towels. And if you want to donate today, you can see Lisa Cohen or myself, there's Lisa right there. We have our 12-step program. It is on April 9th at 7:15 p.m. on Zoom, 12-step. We also have our Passover Seder next week. So if you want to pre-register for that, you can prep that. And it's $25 for that. Just want to let you guys know. Yes, you can see Jerry on that one. Also, we're doing an Easter egg hunt also the next week for Easter. And you can see Lori on that. What's the date on that, Lori? The 19th, yeah. So see Lori if you want to be part of that Easter egg hunt. Also, we have our sign-up sheet for our cleanup crew, and we're looking for someone to fill in for today. So if you want to be a volunteer for that, you'll see Lori. Thank you so much. And we want to thank Zach and Caroline, Zach and her mom,
Amy.
for beautiful music and their spirit. And Amy did this altar today. Very nice. Oh, you guys. Also, Dr. Phil, you brought the bagels?
I bought the
fellowship?
bagels.
And James, you brought your beautiful food. We love that. Thank you so much. We're so grateful. I think I covered everything. Oh, no, we have also a couple. Oh, Zach, you're going to have an event coming up, right? Okay. So, Lisa and Eva are having an event on April 15th for Passover drumming. So, you can check that out, too. And next week is the true meaning of freedom. Very interesting. Thank you so much, and have a sparkling day. Let's have a sparkling day, right?
Right.
Yes, our President Artie is always sparkling with us. So our Mahaveera Jayanti would not be complete without meeting with and hearing from Arvin Vora, our dear friend, and my dear friend. And I just want to say, we're doing all the thank yous. None of this would not be possible. Arvin, you're great, but Ila, you do all the running around. Where is she? She ran downstairs to get the food. See that? So make sure you stop Ila and give her a hug and tell her thank you for everything.
Right there.
This might be yours. You don't want to go upstairs?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see, it's on. It should be on.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.
Final one. Use all your breath. Jai Jinendra. Thank you very much. You have heard all inspiration, messages, and goodwill that you have been taught from almost from the birth, even though language may be different. Here I'm going to tell you our progress in America. When I came 55 years ago, Mahaveera, there were no temples, and everybody's home was temple. The first Mahaveera Jayanti was celebrated at the consulate in New York City. Our population was very small, but was very determined. and many of them in good position had a vision and resources to have the very first temple at Ithaca Street, which is still one of the best temples in America. Because it practices all the Jain principles very well. One of the most important ones that usually we don't find in India is coexistence among at least four different beliefs of Jainism, Theravada, Sthanavada, Digambar, and other people. Then, move forward after 20 years, we had the New Hyde Park Temple and the Hicksville, and Suffolk, we have this gathering of light where we are celebrating Mahaveera Jayanti for 20 years almost.
Yeah.
Now, this is to me Mahaveera Jayanti celebration in Suffolk County by non-Jains with Jains is a classic example of Paratkrav Jivan. We have to, each individual need to move forward and create a new territory with people's friends, co-workers, to spread this message. Look at John, Leonardo, and Juliana. Give up meat. The most important things to me they do among many of their activities is writing Anuvrat article for last 2 years every week. First year when we started, I had a lot of difficulty putting teeth from Jain to write about Anuvrat. So the point is there are so many creativity among us, we have to just reach out. All the things that are happening, we started this thing because our host in this country came up with a vision to have Long Island Multi-Faith Forum 20 years ago. And not because I was deeply religious or I was ordained minister in Jainism or something, but because they felt that something should be done, and they brought 12 faiths together and have Long Island Multi-Faith Forum. And that gave inspiration to many other on Long Island. So there are several organizations. They may be just having three Abrahamic faiths, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. But there are many interfaith organizations, and Gathering of Light is probably one of the most active in promoting not just one religion, but every religion. Just visualize that you are saying Jainism today. The same way they do it, Buddhism, Sikhism, all other faiths, smaller way, bigger way, but they are doing it. And that's our job, to keep doing this kind of things. If I know that America keeps all of us extremely busy. We don't have time. We run around here and there. But if you want to look as young as me, at age 80, you have to promote yourself. I was very active in Jain Center of America. I was secretary and convener of the first Jaina convention in New York. And by the way, Jaina convention, L.M. Singhvi's, those who don't have it should buy the book of Jain Cosmology. It's one of the most authoritative, very good book on Jainism, where this doctrine of Jainism has been written in this little flyer. We were lucky. We were able to get Jain Mahaveera Jayanti celebration at consulate because we had UN ambassador Dr. N.P. Jain. And there are people, it's just that we have to put our efforts, small way or big way. Look at Nitin Jain. We came in contact maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and me and my friend Naresh Jain, we saw that there is a talent. Now think of it, Parliament of World Religion, and to be a chairman. It's not an ordinary job when work, but when you think that you are busy, you look at Nitin Jain. If you can do what he does, 10th of it, you will realize that we have a tremendous potential. Once you start writing about one Anurata article, then you will realize how to continue for 2 years. And for John, Jain, we don't become violent activists, but we do become activists, and he always have it. Stay in touch with John, stay in touch with Nitin Jain, because Jain population is 1 every 700 people in the world. So what we can do is very important to promote other things. Think about the Jains over here today. It's massive number. And I just went because history has to be passed on, that we are celebrating Mahaveera's message after 2600 years, and prior to it, other Tirthankars. All I say is that there are key people over here without whom this thing could not have been continued. That includes, of course, John Barrett. She's our neighbor. Her son and my son were in school together, and we have been in touch since long time, almost 40 years. And Dr. Panna Shah, who have moved to Florida, and of course, where are you hiding?
I'm listening.
Oh, well, Joanne has a tremendous support from Faye, and I have a tremendous support. Just my wife knew that I'm going to mention her name. She was taking care of food downstairs. But thank you again to all of you. We don't have to gang up, we don't have to show our majority, we don't have to show our power well. That naturally comes to us, but how well we utilize them is the most important message I have for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all for being here. So we go from here today profoundly aware that we are blessed. Through our gratitude for these blessings, let us commit to deepen our awareness. Let us be intentionally grateful and live our best selves. Let us go and love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The fractured world waits in darkness for the light that is you. We trust that bringing our grateful hearts together and doing what we do each week, each year, with all of us together, is another step towards peace on earth. And so each week we say these peace words, these words of greetings and gathering, of really trusting in all that we do and connecting now to also with earth, air, fire, and water. We usually do that right in the beginning, Nitin, so. But they are Aloha, Om Shanti, Shalom, Salam, Peace, Pax, Sat Shri Akal, Jai Jananda, Blessed be, Aping, Amahoro, Akwene, Namaste, Ashe, Mir, Ashe, Aho. Aho. We have a great closing song, and after the song, we have a few birthdays, and then we'd like a picture of everybody up here that we like to use every year.
I was